Good morning. Shall I say salam alaikum? My name is Stefan Nyengo. I am the CEO of a Dubai-based advisory organization called Digital Catalyst. We specialize in the design and deployment of what we call digital cognitive organizations. At the very center of our value proposition is really the disruptiveness of AI across activities taking place within an organization. We see AI everywhere. We see AI impacting absolutely every single process. We see AI reshaping business configuration, business models. And the panel here today will discuss, explore the significance of AI to address what I usually call the executive or leadership paradox. What is the leadership paradox? So a CEO is often mandated to drive a growth strategy. So as a CEO, I have to ensure that year on year, I am able to orchestrate growth. So as a CEO, I will naturally have an interaction with the leadership of my organization. So I will go to the CFO and say, okay, we have to grow. And what are your ideas? And the CFO would typically respond, I think we should actually strive for excellency. We should reduce costs, cut across the organization, and essentially grow through efficiency. Great perspective. I will then go and meet the chief product officer or chief digital officer, and I say, how do we grow? And the answer is, well, we should invest more in innovation and take new product to market. Already a bit of a paradox. On one side, the CFO is keen to actually drop cost, and the product team is keen for further investment. We'll then eventually meet the chief marketing officer, the team in charge of the operation, and yet there is another opinion. One that says we need to establish proximity with our client in order to ensure that they remain loyal to us and we can grow their own. Here is another perspective. This is an indication of what I call the leadership paradox, which is essentially at the center of inefficiencies within an organization. This panel has been pulled together with the right set of expertise to see how this increased proliferation of AI can indeed help alleviate this challenge of the leadership paradox. How can we, as a leadership within an organization, operate, collaborate better for better results, leveraging AI? So, welcome to this panel. Maybe we'll start with a round of introduction through my panelists. Sebastian?
Yeah, a quick intro. My name is Sebastian Samuel. I'm the first technology glitch. Yeah, I'm Sebastian Samuel. I'm serving as a CIO for AW Rostamani Group, and our group is a multifaceted group, mainly into automotive, real estate, a bit of manufacturing, retail, and logistics and transportation. I've been there for quite some time. I came with full hair and then still running for the last 17 years in the leadership of technology.
My name's Leonore Kidd. I work for HSBC. I'm the MSS CIO. I started in London. I went to Hong Kong, China, Mexico, and now I'm in Dubai. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Leonore. Ramesh?
Hi. Hi. I think it's not working. I'm Ramesh. I have worked in more than over 5 countries. I worked in multinationals like FedEx, Ericsson, Inchcape, and I also worked for Bahrain government and Ras Al Khaimah government. I was the group CFO and CTO with Rakesh. I just stepped out from that role and moving into another role. And what I will be happy to share is my vast experience in transformation, whether it's digital transformation, AI transformation. So looking forward to giving a CFO perspective.
Thank you. Sebastian, Linoy, Ramesh, thanks for joining this panel. And we are going to open the discussion, looking forward to your perspectives on a number of points here. The point I wanted to start with is to understand this. To understand the state of AI in your respective organizations. Are you today in a situation where you have established an AI strategy? And that's the first question. And if yes, what sort of aspirations do you have? Where do you see and how do you see AI contributing to the success of your organization? Maybe starting with Ramesh.
Hello? It's a very good question, thank you. First of all, and I'm just sharing this for the audience benefit, a lot of organizations don't differentiate between static digital transformation or conventional traditional automation and AI. So I want to start with what does AI do? Because that's what I realized with the buzzword going around on AI. What does AI do which normal digital transformation don't do? So, and then very simple things came out. Hyper-personalization, ability to give that kind of personalized solution to the customer, scalability, real-time. I mean, you heard of voice assistant tools that are out, which gives you real-time answers to queries, customized solutions. So I think real time is very important. So I started off with really understanding what will AI do which normal digital tools don't do. Once we established it in our industry, Ras Al Khaimah government, we wanted to look at how do we leverage AI on two pain points. One was churn. We had high level of churn. Double-digit churn of our customers because it's a very competitive area. The free zone market is very competitive. More new aggressive free zones were coming. How do we use AI to address the churn? Second, so it's just not predictive analytics, but also being able to give us solutions and true insights. Second was lead generation. We have, as a free zone, customers are spread all over the world. Who comes to the free zone in Ras Al Khaimah? If somebody in Africa, somebody in India, how do you reach your proposition to him? So we said, how do we use AI to do that? Because you have the usual social media tools. So I think by zeroing down on two of our biggest pain point, which is really reaching our addressable market using AI. Similarly, how do we reduce our pain with churn using AI? These were the two cases we took on, and we are very, very happy. We are seeing tremendous results.
Ramesh, this is a very interesting perspective. Maybe still with Ramesh, are you able to quantify the gains from these two specific use cases? Can you share some perspectives?
I mean, I'll start off with a very, very glaring pain point we had, which is churn. Churn is tracked not on a monthly basis or weekly basis, it's tracked daily. So we knew our churn was, I won't give you absolute number, let's say 15% is our annual churn. I mean, just theoretically. So if your annual revenue is 1 billion dirham, you're losing 150 dirhams down the drain by churn. So it's very easy to quantify. What we did was, when we used the AI tool, we implemented a tracker where we were able to track the reduction in churn. Now it's come to 3.5%. So that's a massive shift.
Wonderful.
And we are also bucketing into what is the reason for it. We do periodic root cause analysis. And we are constantly improving our AI tool.
Wonderful, wonderful. I get from your perspective there, Ramesh, you are here indicating that the introduction of AI ought to be pinpointed in such a way that you can drive momentum through real outcomes and then consider this as a continuous journey of improvement.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. Linoy, HSBC being such a vast global organization, where do you stand with AI?
So everything that we do is obviously very heavily regulated, and we have to get compliance to agree to everything that we do. So we started very small with POCs. And what we looked at is reduction for time to market. So for instance, I'll give you an example. I started in HSBC 18 years ago. I had to create the smile curve in Murex, for anyone that knows trading, and it would take me hours, sometimes days. Now, using AI, seconds, literally seconds. We also did robotics for market data compilation, which means that operations don't need to do that manually every day, which takes away manual effort. And the other thing that's amazing that we have done for my job specifically is we have put AI across our data centers. And therefore, I can check the usage per country of my infrastructure. And I can scale it depending on how much use we're getting out of that. So for me, it's made my life a lot easier. So yeah.
Quite transformative, Would you? So you're here concurring with Ramesh that it is again a targeted approach, starting with some proof of concept
Very,
and then
very
scaling
small.
from there.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the impact of having such significant improvement in the workflow on the workforce? Do you end up firing people because the AI is doing a better job?
I get asked this question a lot. No, because if you think about it, HSBC is huge, and we still run very old technology, AS400 being one of them. But for us, it's all about working smart. You instead of having to do manual intervention, you are working so smart that you can actually interplay the strategy and reduce the caps that we have and increase revenue. So it's all about working smart.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sebastian, your organization is a flagship organization here in the UAE, and the organization has been running for quite a number of years. Have you gotten to a stage where AI is now embedded within the organization? Where do you stand on the AI journey?
So I will go for mic as a service. Okay. Hello. I think it's okay. So Stephen, definitely I will come back to that answer, but I want to start from stopped, because quite a lot of people talk about, or we have this concern that how AI is going to impact our life and how many of you people probably will lose the job, right? If you look at this has happened in the industry for many, many years. So think about those worlds. We had the horse carriages and bullock carts managing the transportation, then came the steam engine, electrification, automobile. So people have to acquire new skills and change consistently. Now this is a similar moment, actually AI, and if you look at the AI, we are in the first stage of AI, which is artificial narrow intelligence. Then it will become artificial general intelligence, where we will be competed with the AI, the consciousness point of view, intelligence point of view. Finally, ASI, which is the application super intelligence, artificial super intelligence. We are in the beginning and we have a lot of hype now. But actually what leaders should do is transform talents. Use these technologies to transform talents so that you can create your future, right? That's where I want to start with, so that all of us can still run our life safely, securely, efficiently, probably better by leveraging AI in a responsible manner. So I'll come back to now AWR standpoint. So I've been heading the technology division for the group for the past 17 plus years. I'm working there for 23 years. So I had the opportunity to go through all this ERP wave, business intelligence wave, the cloud transformation. So we don't have any data centers, we don't have any switches and routers, we directly manage. We are on a complete as a service model, which also gives us a lot of opportunity to enable business and optimize business. So in 2018, I started off my first experiment with data and DSML, data science modeling kind of a work. I had to hire a data scientist by interviewing 36 people, and the person stayed only for 7 to 8 months, and she got a very good job in I think HSBC took her, unfortunately, in UK. Yeah. So that was the first. Then another one. Then COVID came. During COVID time, I couldn't hire the person. He was working from Mumbai. Then he couldn't come back. Then I hired the third one. He's still with us. So we have a small team of data and AI group. So we started playing with the data first. The first part was getting a data landscape itself done. Okay, so Hortonworks and Clouderas of the world used to ask $2 million to start with, where Google was giving us $300 credit. I started my life with $300 credit, didn't ask anyone. Started ingesting data in a secure environment. I think my CISO guy is also here. So then we played with it and given an analytics dashboard initially using Tableau first to the people, and then they started asking, I need more. Okay, then I asked, pay me more. That's why we started, right? Now we have a centralized data landscape. We run almost 27 plus cloud applications from various places. So data is the only thing is permanent. Like change is the constant, your data is the constant. That's where you get continuity. Your applications will come and go. You use SaaS subscriptions for a period of time and then you change. But the data has to persist. Your data about people, data about your business has to persist. So we have this application neutral data landscape which will give you the foundation for your data and AI experiments. And then it moved to a little bit of predictions and a little bit of offer recommendations, quite a lot of conversation. In the automotive, when you come to a service center, when you are we are receiving your car in your canopy, the conversations are driven by, the very personalized predictions which are pushed into the iPad which the guy handles. So because we have an ability to understand your car's condition and tailor the conversation. So that is where we started. Okay. Now we are just to wrap it up, we are moving to a stage where one of the biggest problem in this kind of country is the transient population comes and go into your organization. So we all have some internal Google people, always you go to, ask this guy, ask that guy, he will know everything, right? This is the tacit knowledge and experience problem. I think with the advent of this LLMs, we can address that challenge. So we are creating a digital knowledge base based on LLMs, so each of these special areas. So these are the two cases, we are actively working on.
Thank you, Sebastian. So, again, starting small, in this case, skills and competency shortages need to be accounted for, start small, build the case, and grow it from there. And across these cases, irrespective of the type of models you use, these models require quite a lot of data to be trained. So in a way, AI has a fundamental dependency on AI and a lot of data. But by pulling this data together across the value chain of the organization and beyond, we are immediately faced with a number of questions. The theme of today's event around cybersecurity. How do you ensure, Ramesh, as we are looking at addressing these churn issues, how do we deal with the sensitive side of the transaction, the customer data, the customer information that is actually submitted? How do we manage both the security side of an AI initiative, but equally the ethics aspect of it in terms of implication for your workforce, but beyond it, implication for humanity, let's say. So how do you deal with both the security and ethical aspects of AI in your respective journeys?
Before I go into the data security side, let me start with a very important point, data itself. This is something that a lot of you will face it in legacy organizations, not younger organizations. Data connectedness, data integration. Are you really a data-driven organization where data cuts across the enterprise to give a seamless experience to the customers? No. I would say a majority of the legacy organization, the data is not connected. So you have a serious starting point. If you're talking about AI and advanced technology, if your infrastructure is not converged and your data is not connected, you can't start anywhere. So just wanted to let you know, and that is something that a lot of boards and C-levels are missing the point. In the rush to implement AI, they don't really do a due diligence on how connected is our data, how usable is our existing data, how capability before we embark. So just a comment, I'm sure all of us have gone through that, but you see this more and more in legacy organization. Just a comment, I mean, I always say, as an example, let's say you're a big organization which has all the ERPs in the world, it has the best CRMs in the world, it has put all the services online, it's got a mobile app, it has got website, it's got everything. Is that organization technically called digitally transformed? And most of them says yes. To me, that's not a straight yes. The acid testers, does the data cut across the enterprise seamlessly at every customer touch point? And if the data doesn't come together to give the best customer experience or an enhancement, that's not a data-driven organization, or that is not a digitally transformed organization. Sorry, it's just, I'm going a little too much.
No, but Ramesh, these are very important aspects of data journey. So really thank you for bringing this point. Before you answer the other question, a quick observation here. Ramesh, you are supposed to be a CFO,
yeah,
but you are so invested in doing AI right, which means you are financing it. A normal CFO doesn't do that.
Yeah.
How did you come to essentially understanding that significance, albeit you being in that CFO position quite often goes, cut costs everywhere. But you are literally promoting increased investment in getting digital right.
It's a very good question. Thank you, Dr. Stefan. That's because in the last two roles, both for Bahrain government and Russell Khama government, I was also managing the CTO hat. Having said that, I think what the board wants is, as the CFO, when an AI idea comes, when you go and give them the investment narrative, they want to hear, how does that AI solution help in three major areas? Enhancing sustainable growth, or enhancing operational excellence, or enhancing customer engagement experience. This is very important. If you don't put it in these three buckets, you can never quantify the impact analysis. What will it do to your business? So, because the starting point is to get the board approval and stakeholder approval for the investment decision, I have always tried to bucket these ideas into three categories: growth, operational excellence, and customer experience. And that helps me then work with appropriate teams to quantify the impact. If it is customer experience, it means improved loyalty, improved retention, higher engagement, higher conversion. If it is operational excellence, you have to see that cost, as you said. If you say this is for operational excellence, I need to see the scalable cost reduction. And then obviously revenue growth, we need to know how will new revenue come in if you have the tool. So because I was the starting point, I gave the structure in order to prioritize.
Wonderful. So you are in fact still a CFO, even though you are promoting the innovation. Wonderful. Are you able to share a couple of ideas around how to deal with security and the ethical implication of AI?
I have to be honest, it's still an evolving area. So whenever we rolled out the technologies, we spent a lot of time prior to the proof of concept in ensuring two areas: the regulatory compliance as well as the cybersecurity mitigation. So it's a very massive exercise. We obviously engaged consultants to do it, but have I nailed it all? Is the data fully secure? No, we're still very vulnerable. As we speak, last week we had an episode. So I think we have to be agile and continuously learning and fixing it. There is no permanent solution.
Wonderful, wonderful. Keyword there, agile. So again, another fundamental strategy to get your AI journey on the right track. Linoy, how do we have within HSBC being such a large organization, do you have well-established guidelines, policies, ethical considerations? What is the state of play when it comes to security and ethics?
Security is very, very important to us. And every market has a different regulation that we need to adhere to. So, for instance, in Saudi Arabia, we have the PDPL, the NDMO, and we adhere to the CMA. Every single change that we do in Saudi Arabia has a cyber approval. It has to go through cyber approval. Every single project that we do has cyber on the project. It's absolutely key for us, and it's absolutely key for any industry out there. We have first line of defense, second line of defense. Everybody is responsible for security within the bank, and it's very, very key for us. So yeah, and we need to make sure that we really, really understand the regulations. So every white paper that comes out, actually, I read it. I have to read it, I have to understand it, and I have to understand the implication that has on my projects. So if we use a data center outside of those markets, I need to understand whether we have the right controls in place to do that.
So quite a lot of compliance work to do.
Very much.
Wonderful. Ramesh had indicated that to ensure effective collaboration or an alignment at the executive, at the board level, it is all to do with putting the business case in the right place, ensuring that the AI initiative is indeed very well substantiated. There are fairly specific outcomes that are expected to gain the approval. Is this the state of play as well within your organization?
So we work as a partner with the business. Everything that we do is either to do with revenue growth and revenue increase, or it's to do with regulation. So we have a second slot for regulation, or we have service sustainability. So it all goes through those three pillars, but the business prioritize everything, and we work hand in hand. The strategy works hand in hand with the business. So we work as a partner.
Wonderful. So again, the confirmation here that it is all in the business case. It isn't necessarily my way, but all to do with the actual outcomes and benefit. Sebastian, in your organization, we've seen with Ramesh that the ethics, the cybersecurity aspect of the journey is work in progress. Whilst in the banking sector, in the financial services sector, we see, as explained by Linoy, a very well-structured approach to it led from compliance. What is the state of play within your organization? Where do you sit in these two paradigms?
Yeah, so usually the regulated sectors, always get investments and they go with this kind of principles. Ahead of the private sector, we are not that much regulated, but still the compliance and the ethics, it's a family organization, though value their own family name much more than anything they do. So luckily, we have also started with the data governance, policies, procedures, and dedicated head for those kind of divisions. That is also creating a lot of hassle within the organization with respect to getting the initiatives approved, and then, going through, like, Lynn was talking about, we need to understand everything, we need to check all those compliances and everything. So then I had to play the role of a psychologist sometimes to have the conversation with the different pillars of the business. So since we have one of our flagship business is auto, I have picked up an analogy. I asked these people, why do you need a brake in the car? Is it to stop the car or to go faster? Initially, people think that, okay, this will stop, but why do you want to stop? So when you're running at 200 kilometers, 150 kilometers on the road, if you don't have the right brake, will you trust the car? No. So that is this brake. The governance, policies, procedures, and ethics are the brakes you have to apply when needed to safely run your business sustainably. That is the way. The moment you understand that paradigm, people will shift gears and try to understand. So, and even I used to talk to my own cybersecurity head, the easiest way to block is to block everything, right? So if you want to provide security to your family, you can put them in a cellar, even a bomb cannot penetrate. That is called imprisonment. So you cannot block everything. Why we are not worried about our family going anywhere, anytime in UAE? Because it's a very secure country. You all trust the country's security, you all believe in it, and so it's proven. So if you create a secure environment, actually you get more freedom to operate. So within the environment, if the proper guardrails are put in AI, in data governance and everything, actually the business can be much more smoother, because according to the standard operating procedures, you can really work freely. So this is the concept we need to communicate. It requires a bit of psychological experience than the real rules and regulations. Rules and regulations cannot be applied in a brute force method. So to your question, we are taking it very seriously, and we have started our baby steps in it, and that is paying now value. So in my opinion, AI and technology and even cybersecurity, the keynote he has pointed that it's everybody's job. It's not IT job. It's not a cybersecurity head's job. It's everybody. Until and unless you make it personalized, the security culture, the ethics and practices you personalize and integrate with your business process, you will never ever achieve the goal. Because the biggest problem is you don't have a firewall for human mind. So that is where very importantly you need to work with the culture and the personal commitment of the people to make it successful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I have a comment, and this is touching on Sebastian's point. The whole digital transformation, AI transformation that's happening in the last 5-10 years is happening at a rapid pace. So one of the things that a lot of organizations don't understand is a change management program is required to educate organization-wide. And the transformation, when you say I'm going to be digitally transformed, I will have AI tool, it doesn't stop there. It has to look at 3 areas. Transformation of, obviously, the business model, digital business model, but also transformation of mindset and culture within the organization. That is not addressed in a lot of large legacy organizations. And the third is obviously the digital capability. But this mindset change and culture change is very important to take ownership. Technology is not IT department's responsibility. It is every one of the employees' responsibility. And that communication comes only when there is a proper change management program in place, because there are a lot of employee questions. Will I lose my job? What is AI going to really do? Organization need to spend time educating, explaining, convincing their employees so that they are all aligned and there is buy-in. And when you have buy-in, then data security becomes a lot easier, because everybody takes it as their project. And I'm just sharing that.
Okay, wonderful, Ramesh. Clearly, we need to understand that this is a journey. It does require bringing stakeholders and an entire organization on that journey. Hence, we need to manage this as a change program. I wanted to maybe go back to a point you mentioned earlier around Agile as being the way to do this. Quite clearly, AI is maturing almost on a daily basis. There's new models and frameworks emerging continuously. So a fairly substantial aspect of this is going to be trial and error. Hence, we need to take an Agile approach to such a program. But this isn't necessarily an approach that organizations, stakeholders are accustomed to. How do you introduce Agile as a way of working within your organization? Ramesh, how have you done this before?
Yeah, I think it's very important. It starts with very quickly. Every time I have worked on a digital transformation roadmap for an organization, it has to be top-driven, top-down. 2, it has to be cross-functional and working through a change management program. And in that change management program, we are going to have workshops to explain what Agile means. A lot of people get confused whether it is incremental approach, what is agile, what is conventional approach. So we have made sure that the agile ways of working is explained company-wide, not just IT department or a few business teams. I think that's the way we have addressed that.
Okay. Linoy, what experience with Agile as part of this AI journey?
So we started the DevOps Agile journey a few years ago, and we actually started from the top down. So from the CIO of MSS, he pushed it down the organization, but not only within IT, but also within the business. And one of the fundamental changes that we made is we put product owners within the business to have full accountability of the agility around the projects. So we did stand-ups with those product owners every day, and we brought in this fail-fast concept as well. So we actually did seminars like this where senior members were saying, I failed on this, it's okay to fail, move on, move on, move on. So the agility and DevOps journey, it took a long time, but now it's part of the cultural DNA. And the business is part of the stand-ups with us now, and the retros, and they use Jira as well, so they can use the Jira dashboard, and we put Splunk in for to show how production has become stable because of that. And also we checked. So the other thing that we did is we did very small iterative change. So one of the amazing things that we did is we chunked down the projects into very small bites, so that we could put change into production, not only on the weekend, but also during the week, which has never been done before. And it was very successful.
So quite a plethora of tools, from Jira to Splunk to quite a few others you've mentioned, and a fairly drastic way of doing things, totally different from the traditional approach, hence the need to take an iterative, gradual approach, bringing people in, and eventually arriving at a certain stage, and then reworking to the next stage. And it seems to be quite tedious. Do you have dedicated resources within the organization that are responsible to run all of these ceremonies?
So we used to at the beginning. So we had Scrum Masters, and we had Agile, and lots and lots of different workshops. But now it's part of the culture. So it's almost part of the DNA now. Like security, it's part of our DNA now. So it's just BAU.
Wonderful.
It's not tedious.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sebastian, how do you approach Agile, being another key feature in bringing stakeholders on board, trying and failing and going back again? Lina mentioned failing fast in order to learn and continuously improve. What is the experience within your organization?
So, on an overall organization, we have like 3 methods of working in this. One of the program which corporate level which we have done was the strategic agility itself. What does it mean? How do you respond as an organization in an agile manner when the business scenario is changing very frequently? That was one of the program for senior leaderships. Technology point of view, Jira, Confluence, GitHubs, JIT was the easiest things to do. But the biggest challenge was, how do you negotiate agile budget with the CFO? And how do you negotiate the scope in an agile manner with rather than a waterfall methodology was one of the challenge. So we have taken up a program within IT, adopt agile mindset. So it's not just the technology. Technology is very easy to put it together, but how do you negotiate with them? So the planning and budgeting time onwards, how do you put an agile budget to create different type of features for the project? So that is one of the biggest things. So definitely we do follow, but there are challenges. But right from budgeting and planning onwards, you have to have the mindset for working on a proper agile environment. And also one more point, we have differentiated enterprise IT, which runs application implementation, which is purely waterfall and those kind of methods. Then we have created a product group separately to work on agile product development, segregating IT into 2.
Wonderful, wonderful. we have discussed here quite a few concepts and some very, very practical ideas on how one should approach this AI journey. How does this embed back into an organization construct right from the leadership downwards? We would like to take a couple of questions. Are there any questions on any of the topics discussed here? This is clearly a very exciting time for organization looking at the significance of AI. Questions from the audience? Gentlemen, the glasses. Microphone.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Hi. This was indeed a very good discussion. So my question is related to change. We talk about the change, and change we talk about mindset change. So when we talk about AI, what challenges we face specifically within the organization if we talk about change in mindset, leadership side as well as endpoint side, which is end user. So if you can get some insight on this, thank you.
Could you just introduce yourself?
Myself is Mohammed Irfan and I'm a part of KAFU.
Cool. Mohammed, a very interesting question. How should one conceive of change as part of such a disruptive journey? And I will leave it for the audience, but I'll just quickly mention a perspective. It really varies depending on the organization you are working within. But here is a workshop that me and my team deliver for some organization, which is essentially rethinking an organization business model by challenging the underlying concept of an organization. And this workshop is quite disruptive, but plants the seed for a whole new mindset when you think about an organization. So we tend to define an organization as being a group of people working together toward an outcome. In reality, when you see a group of people working together, quite often it is their brains, their cognitive capacity that really coordinate the various transactions. So an organization could be seen as a group of brains working together to achieve an outcome. But up until, let's say, about 20 years ago, there was a view that cognitive capacity was really the sole domain of human beings. The reality with AI right now is that you have almost infinite cognitive capacity in the machine. So my point here is, when you really think about where we are headed with AI, the very definition of an organization can be challenged. And when you consider it in some sectors in the economy, you start to think about a process should not be designed assuming that we're going to have human beings delivering the process. We just need to rethink almost everything at any level within an organization. We often, as part of our delivery, start with such a disruptive way of thinking about the organization, to the point of having the leadership realizing the significance of having to adjust your mindset. And then you go to the more practical approach of change management by starting with individual use cases. But I just wanted to share this idea of we sometimes have to shock the organization to understand the significance of what is going on, and hopefully this triggers a different mindset, a different behavior. I'll leave it out to the guys here. How do you approach change?
Yeah, no, it's a very important question, because it's very important to understand AI and traditional static automation. There is a gap. So the fear when AI is being discussed, is very genuine. So what we have done, again, as I said, in both, I will give you an example of what I did with FedEx globally, a global multinational, as well as the last role where I was with Ras Al Khaimah government. We did not say AI strategy or digital transformation. We came up with a digital transformation roadmap for the organization, and in that, continuous change management training workshops are embedded. And one of the main area we talk about is explaining AI. We are saying AI is not going to replace you. It's going to make you more effective. It's treated like a co-pilot, not replacing you. It will help you achieve things at a faster speed, more real time, and more scalable. That is the value of AI. It is not replacing individuals. We still need humans. So I think it's a very important message that needs to be explained by the C levels, myself, the CEO, the board, and we have to constantly explain that it is going to help you become more effective in achieving the 3 pillars of the organization, which is sustainable growth, or operational excellence, or customer experience enhancement. These are 3 things that a company has bought into and every employee is bought into. These AI is going to make you more effective in addressing these goals. The minute you pitch it like that and call it a co-pilot and not replacing you, it works. I mean, this is just my experience.
So quite a lot of education to go along with it. I think we are drawing to a close on this panel. A very, very exciting panel. I would like to thank the panel members, and I do hope this was relevant and a number of these ideas could be carried into your respective organization.
So